is your reaction to today's election results?
Vindication, elation, thrilled. I'm thrilled that the voters in Groton chose to re-elect a Democratic majority to the town council, the Board of Ed, the RTM. Really, it's a Democratic sweep. Every Democrat who ran won. At least those are our numbers based on today's voting. We don't have the early voting numbers yet and the absentee numbers, but the win numbers from today's vote are great enough. I don't think the early voting or absentee voting could change the results. And I know the early voting and absentee voting both were also heavily skewed towards a Democratic vote. So I couldn't be more delighted. It was a long, hard campaign. Our candidates worked really hard. They were out knocking doors for 2 months, going and talking to voters. I think they earned this, and I'm very happy.
Okay, what do you think was the biggest issue on the minds of voters today?
You know, I think there were probably a few of them. I think they voted for stability, for experience, for moderation. Our candidates are experienced, and I think the voters wanted that consistency and stability. I think also people are very concerned right now about things like SNAP benefits and health insurance. They know Democrats support a safety net for people who are in need. And I think people said, we want people in office who are going to look out for us and kind of do what they can to help us in these very difficult economic times. And of course, probably a piece of it was what's going on nationally. We're seeing high Democratic voter turnout across the country. And I think we probably had high Democratic voter turnout here in Groton, though we don't have all those numbers yet, so I can't say for sure.
Okay, what are some of the key issues facing the town over the next 2 years?
Based on my conversations with all of our candidates and my watching all the meetings and listening, I think probably one of the number one issues is the town budget. We're very concerned about what is going to happen with federal funding to the states, and how, if there's cuts in federal funding to the states, how the states might cut funding to the town. And obviously that will have an adverse impact on the town. So the concern is, how do we maintain the quality services? Schools, town operations, roads, public works, police. How do we maintain those quality public services without increasing taxes to a degree that our taxpayers can't afford and can't handle right now? So that's going to be a huge challenge, and one I think these candidates are best equipped to deal with.
Okay, what are today's results mean for the RTM?
For the RTM, it means that there would continue to be a Democratic majority, and having a Democratic majority on the RTM who can work collaboratively with the town council as they wrestle with the budget, since the RTM's main job is to approve the town budget after the town council acts on it. Having Democrats on the RTM again means I think there'll be support for human services, for spending to help people who are struggling, support for the public services that people who are struggling need. So they need good schools for their children. They need good recreation programs for their children. The seniors need the senior center services to continue. Veterans need help, and I think the RTM will work collaboratively with the town council on that for the benefit of the people.
Okay, what are some of the main issues for the Board of Education over the next 2 years?
So I think some people realize that what was just completed was an operational review of the school system. And it showed that there's a need to get some tighter fiscal controls on some things in the school system. But in fairness to the school system, they haven't had a consistent finance director now for several years. Finally, they've been able to hire someone. I think everybody that I've talked to is very happy with the new finance director and expects that those issues will get under control. But certainly that's a big issue that the Board of Ed is going to have to deal with, making sure that they're comfortable and then making the citizens comfortable with how the money is being managed and how it's being overseen. Obviously, there's the continued challenges with student performance. Students are still struggling after COVID, and the Board of Ed has done things, is trying to do things to improve student performance, especially the students who struggle the most. How do we provide them the services they need? And how do you do that without, again, having the Board of Ed budget explode and become more than what taxpayers can afford? So there's a lot of challenges for them.
Okay, what effect has today's national political climate has had on today's local municipal election?
I think probably it had a significant effect on the outcome of the election today. Again, we don't have final numbers, but based on the numbers we saw today, I think it might be that we had the highest voter turnout we've ever had in a local election in Groton. And if that's the case, and given the results, I'm guessing it was due to a large Democratic voter turnout. Now, we can take some credit for that. We worked really hard to try to get a large Democratic turnout. But I think probably what's going on nationally, we're seeing it nationally, that there's large Democratic voter turnouts across the country from people who are not happy with having a president who many of us perceive as acting like a king, that where people, we're losing the three branches of government, the way they're supposed to oversee each other and balance each other. There's a lot of concerns about what's going on in Washington. I think people are scared and mad, and they want to make sure there's people in their local offices, at least, who are going to do what they can to push back on that and protect them.
Okay, is there anything else that you would like to add?
Going back to the question of sort of locally and some things that the town council might be focusing on in the next couple of years. I think one of them at the top of everybody's list is the revitalization of downtown Groton. It's something that's been talked about for some time, but I think people are still waiting to see some measurable action on that. And I think it's an issue that's not divisive. I think everybody in the community would like to see some improvements in downtown Groton. Exactly how the council can make that happen, working with the Economic Development Commission, working with Planning and Zoning. I don't know, but I'm optimistic that we might see some activity on that front. So I wanted to put that out there for people that's a goal, a worthy goal, and again, a unifying one.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today.
You're very welcome. Thank you for doing this. This is a service. Oh, here's Councillor Adam Pacino saying, thank you. And that would be my closing message. Actually, my closing message is thank you to the voters. Thank you to the voters of Groton for sending a message to the Democratic elected officials who've worked very hard on their behalf. and saying to them, we trust you, we like you, we believe in you, and we want you to keep doing good things for Groton. So thank you to the voters.
So what is your reaction to today's results?
Well, of course, I am disappointed. I do feel that we wrestled a lot of people out of their non-voting areas to come out and vote. Whether they voted for us or not, I really felt that, there was a lot more interest in this election, and I hope that next time we can get even more and maybe more votes for the Republicans.
Okay, what do you think was the biggest single issue on the minds of voters today?
I don't know. I didn't really talk to a lot of the voters today, and I didn't see an awful lot of them. But I do know that there's a lot of people that seem to vote straight ticket. So I think that the turnout didn't work out as well. But as far as the issue on their minds, I guess I would have to say that I really don't know what was on their minds today. Seeing the results and realizing that they have elected back a lot of the same people. I was kind of hoping that maybe they would be thinking more about allowing more of a diverse council and diversity and along all the lines. So I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. What are some of the key issues facing the town over the next 2 years?
Well, I think that one of them is trying to control the taxes because people are barely able to afford to live in the houses that they're living in. There's people that, have been renting from somebody for a long time, and then they find out that, oh, now it's a good time for them, the owner, to sell their house or whatever, and they can't afford to move anywhere else because the rents have gotten so high. I think we have a high population of people that are on Social Security, and that's their only income. So I think that, we really should focus more on affordable housing as well as, trying to control the taxes so the people that are trying to work hard or still able to work can make enough money to live and feel somewhat comfortable in their life so that they can relax and be happy.
Okay, what will today's results mean for the RTM?
I think that there's not enough candidates, so, we have a total of 44 spots on the RTM, and we didn't even run that many candidates. So everybody that ran won, and makes it kind of, do we need the RTM really? If we can't get people to run for the seats on it. Is there another way that we can go about trying to find the people to fill the RTM? Or is there another way that we can create the needs of the decisions that the RTM makes?
Okay, what are some of the main issues for the Board of Education over the next 2 years?
I think one is going to be the budgets, definitely the size of the number of students is changing in the classrooms because of the need. Trying to control the spending on the Board of Education budget, as well as trying to take care of the needs of all the children. We're losing a lot of state funding and federal funding that was going on, and that is really, really hurting the Board of Education now. The people, the students, they're all being affected by it. There's mandates that are not funded by the state anymore, and, we really, I don't know how to work on that, but, we need to look into that and see what we can do to make that better for all towns, not just Groton, the whole state.
Okay. What effect does today's national political climate have on a local municipal election?
I really think that the national politics have really affected even the people that would be willing to step forward to be candidates, not just in any one party, but in every party. Everybody seems to be having difficulty filling all their spots with good candidates or with people that are even interested. Or, I don't think that we're getting candidates that are as focused and gung ho, if you will, ready to do the job that needs to be done for the position that they are running for.
Okay, is there anything else that you would like to add?
I would just like to, if this gets out or whatever, I would like to say, thank you to everybody who did come out. There were a lot of people asking questions, trying to find out, getting sample ballots and things ahead of time so that they could look up candidates to make a more informed decision. So I think that that is absolutely wonderful. And I'd like to see that continue and increase in the future.
Okay, thank you so much, Kristen, for joining us.
What is your reaction to today's results?
Very honestly, frustration and disappointment. People voted along party lines, and the Democrats did a very good job of getting their base out there, and their base voted pretty much for solely Democrats and didn't deviate from there. So.
What do you think was the biggest single issue on the minds of voters today?
That was a question I really thought about, and I can honestly say I don't have an idea. I don't think many voters focused on the issues like affordability or transparency or government or neighborhood development, but voted on what party they were nationally aligned with. And I think they just transferred their national party affiliation at the local level. And it all goes back to me wanting to get rid of D, R, and I next to any candidate's name so that people will vote for the best candidate, not for solely along party lines.
Okay, what are some of the key issues facing the town over the next 2 years?
The property reevaluation, the development projects in the neighborhoods, and tax increases. And I hope this council will make it a priority to keep taxes low and the town affordable to live in for everyone.
What do today's results mean for the RTM?
We didn't really focus any candidates, so I don't really have an answer for up at the RTM level, so I don't have an answer for that. I don't know who won what or at that level. All our candidates were town council candidates.
Okay. What are some of the main issues for the Board of Education over the next 2 years?
I think it was a very well presented report on the audit that they just went through and showed that they were lacking internal checks and controls. And I think fixing that is a major priority for the Board of Ed is to make sure that their books align with what is actually happening. And there's no kind of ambiguity on where money is being spent and how much money is coming in.
Okay. What effect does today's national political climate have on local municipal elections like today?
I think, I'll kind of repeat myself and just say that people are associating local parties with national party politics and voting along that mindset on the local level. And so when it's not anywhere near the same, I ran today as a Groton Independent, knowing full well I'm not going to change gun laws or abortion laws like the Republicans or Democrats or independents at the national level do. I want to do what's best for my local town. But I think people just associate national party mindset at the local level and kind of lose track of the issues and just vote on party lines.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
I just hope, the results are official at this point, but it's pretty clear. It looks like the Democrats won again, and I just hope that they will not devolve to what we've seen in the past couple of years, and that we can have a civil town government, town council, and that we can have people listen and have committees that are made up of non-Democrats as well that help prepare the town council for success. I mean, I want them to be successful. Don't get me wrong. I don't care what party they're from. I want the town council to have success and do great things for our town. I just don't want more of the same, I guess. And that's one of the reasons why I ran, was because I wanted to be another voice for the other 50% of the Groton town population. And to be very transparent, our party's going to keep fighting for the people of Groton, despite the uphill battle of the sheer numbers of Democrats who come out to vote, because we feel very strongly that, it's great. The town council needs to have Democrats on there. 50% of the population are Democratic, but it's just, there's another 50% of the population that's not being represented. We're going to continue to fight to be that representative, those representatives of that other 50%.
Well, I appreciate your time, Bill.